There is vitamin K2, vitamin D3, and magnesium is ubiquitous. Medical professionals recommend them. Individuals in the wellness sector, I can attest to their capabilities. Furthermore, they possess created supplement enterprises worth billions top sellers. The majority of older adults consider that using these supplements is fundamentally secure, yet that is merely part of the equation. The reality: nearly all seniors lack awareness that consuming them all simultaneously without understanding your actions might lead to calcium accumulations in the wrong areas, dangerous drops in blood pressure, kidney impairment, and even cerebrovascular incidents in just a few days. In this presentation, we outline the 8 most significant adverse reactions and from the least serious to the most critical that may arise from the consumption of magnesium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2 inappropriately. And this lists 4th concealed effect. Within 60 days after starting, the combination is not correct. It has been linked to a 34% rise in the potential for cerebrovascular incident. I have a brief question. Before we begin, can you tell me your location? Where are they watching us from? In the remarks, please specify your country or town. The comment is being acknowledged and addressed. Now, let's proceed with effect number 10. Trust me, even if it may appear it's a small issue and it's rarely discussed by practitioners, since that is when the real issues begins. However, an imbalance in electrolytes that leads to harm in muscles and nerves. Without the appropriate balance of calcium, potassium, sodium, and magnesium have been administered, being solitary or in abundance can impact your whole electrolytic system to experience issues in just a few days. Your muscles tighten inconsistently and your system falters consequently. If you were to consider magnesium was intended to provide you with some calm, you might observe eyelid twitching, experience restless legs during the nighttime, or a mysterious overall nervousness. In reality, however, magnesium operates most effectively when it is in balance with the other elements that manage the electrical signals in your physical form. Researchers observed individuals receiving care administering significant amounts of magnesium without proper nutritional equilibrium in a 2020 research that was released in the Journal of Medical Healthcare. Over 39% reported mild experiences. To manage symptoms of nerve excitability within 72 hours, such as stress shaking, abnormal heart rhythms, and unsettled rest. These individuals were not of advanced age. Individuals with prior health condition situations. They were mature individuals in good wellness. Furthermore, the signs intensified when calcium or potassium the levels were low. It appears that if magnesium is not consumed in sufficient amounts, natural food electrolytes, it could reduce levels of potassium. For this purpose, certain individuals who use it indicate experiencing increased, more wired, or agitated instead of less. Magnesium should not be consumed thoughtlessly to avoid this. Prior consuming a significant amount of magnesium supplements, older adults in particular should monitor sodium consumption, ensure adequate hydration with mineral-rich beverages, rich fluids, and receive potassium from foods such as cooked spinach or avocados are a nutritious choice. It's not just a figment of your thoughts if taking magnesium can lead to increased tension in your nerves or your rest deteriorates. There exists an imbalance your body is working to discuss with you. 9. Magnesium is often praised for its ability to ease the tension in blood vessels and reduce blood pressure, yet it may also lead to sudden decreases in blood pressure that leave you feeling fatigued and enlightened. Nonetheless, if used incorrectly, it could lower blood pressure as well swiftly, particularly when utilized with vitamin D3. This is quite typical. The most at-risk individuals are senior citizens who are already at risk for low blood levels, individuals experiencing elevated levels, or those currently on medication for high blood pressure. As they start to take magnesium, they encounter sudden feeling faint, unsteady, or experiencing a lack of strength, particularly when in an upright position. At real time, the collapse of blood pressure could be the reason for what appears to be fatigue. Researchers discovered that individuals who took daily intake of 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate observed a typical decrease in blood pressure of 11 points, within a mere 48 hours. As per a study released in 2019, hypertension research, even though it may appear beneficial, 1 in 4 participants experienced issues with orthostatic hypertension, key indicators of lightheadedness, feeling queasy and experiencing lightheadedness upon standing. Furthermore, the decrease was more clearly articulated when magnesium was mixed with substantial amounts of vitamin D3. This is due to variations in calcium levels impacting vascular tone, and D3 enhance calcium levels uptake. When integrated with the soothing properties of magnesium, the result is an increased amount of blood tension. This can rapidly turn into dangerous for older adults who are presently utilizing beta blockers, diuretics, or ACE inhibitors medications. Blood pressure may decrease significantly, to trigger a collapse or even more concerning a loss of consciousness when there is a lack of fluids or skipped meals are included. What starts as a genuine intention to enhance cardiovascular health can transform into unexpected frailty confusion or admission to a medical facility. The sensation of lightheadedness could seem trivial. Nonetheless, for older individuals, it may be the initial sign of a potentially significant issue that is imminent. 8th, gastrointestinal issues and dietary concerns, malabsorption that worsens swelling. Diarrhea is among the most common and swift negative reactions of magnesium, especially regarding to compounds such as magnesium oxide or citrate. Even though it may not appear detrimental, it swiftly transforms into a vulnerability for older individuals. Your body experiences a decrease in essential nutrients such as potassium and salt, along with fluids and ions when experiencing loose stools. Furthermore, in older individuals with compromised kidney function, or slower processing, it initiates a sequence of occurrences that hinder muscle function, increase inflammation, and disrupt the structure of connective tissue restoration. What seems to be a temporary issue can lead to unnoticed damage to your system gradually. As per a 22 gastrointestinal disorders and research indicates that approximately 44% of individuals aged over 60 who consumed over 350 milligrams of magnesium each day experienced mild to moderate gastrointestinal distress following a period of 5 days. This, however, was even more significant. Alarming. By the conclusion of the trial, the same group's mineral seasoning and vitamin B12 levels had diminished. Material that moves through the digestive tract too quickly diminishes your body's ability to take in essential nutrients. This diminishes your body's defenses, slows healing, and increases the likelihood of experiencing leg cramps, fatigue, and intense discomfort in the lower joints. Increase size gradually. Magnesium administered in large individual doses or taken on an empty stomach intensifies the problem. Senior individuals often do not realize that every time they utilize the facilities, they are additionally draining themselves. Even if you merely encounter more frequent stools once a day, while taking magnesium is vital and your body is depleting this essential nutrient. Assistance without your agreement, and that will ultimately present as fatigue, inflammation, feet, or frequent unexplained nighttime discomfort. Number 7, irregular heartbeats and irregular patterns resulting from improper consumption. The sudden sensation in your chest, an irregular heartbeat or rapid heart rate, is one of the most alarming signs an elderly individual may possess. Additionally, the majority individuals often do not realize that taking magnesium vitamin D3 or vitamin K2 in the wrong combination could potentially lead to or worsen these sensations. The electrical impulses that energize the heart is fueled by essential minerals, and it may start to experience issues if you exceed the limits your system with one that lacks equilibrium the rest. Your heart's failure to keeping a steady pace could be the reason behind what seems to reflect anticipation or concern. A 2021 study in the field of clinical cardiology monitored regular magnesium supplementation in seniors persons. 15% of individuals, especially those with reduced potassium levels, or individuals currently utilizing cardiac medications, indicated experiencing palpitations for the first time. The risk rose to 22% when D3 was given at amounts exceeding 2,000 units on a daily basis. This is due to its direct influence on cardiac contractions and D3 enhancement, the process of absorbing calcium. When you merge the impact of magnesium on electrolyte balance alterations involving the relaxation of blood vessels, the heart is compelled to make a choice between both great enthusiasm and lack manage. Even more concerning, many elderly individuals believe that tension or stimulants are to responsibility for these symptoms. Nonetheless, individuals often do not realize that they are using a variety of items that overexert their hearts when they look into their supplement storage. This features combinations of calcium and vitamin D3, magnesium sleep supplements, multivitamin formulations, and even magnesium beverages that are promoted as soothing. When the minerals in the core, when there is an imbalance, the heart is unable to take it easy. It flutters, it stumbles at events. Presenting magnesium and D3 slowly with oversight and attentiveness, observing your response is the most secure approach plan of treatment. It would be best to stop. Considering supplements if you experience heart issues to skip flutter or pulse too quickly. It's an indication. Furthermore, overlooking it could lead to feelings of tightness in the chest, irregular heartbeat, or even more concerning, you have a vibrant heart. Additionally, even helpful supplements might start to override the system if the minerals are not in harmony. Sixth, taking D3 without K2 may lead to issues with bowel movements and improper calcium distribution. Vitamin D3 supports the body's calcium absorption. That appears to be acceptable until you discover that calcium doesn't always seek the appropriate location when vitamin K2 is absent. It could commence to build up in soft tissues such as your renal function and vascular health instead of strengthening your skeletal structure. And when that occurs, sudden difficulty in bowel movements is often one of the initial signs. This is because an excessive amount calcium may harden the digestive system, slow down bowel movement, and reduce the volume of fluid that reaches the large intestine. Stools can become uncomfortable, firm, and dehydrated. Consequently, individuals who consume D3 supplements, excluding K2, for 6 weeks showed a notable rise in indicators of vascular calcification in a 2020 study that was reported in bone assessments. While there was not a significant enhancement in bone density, 1/3 of individuals indicated the emergence of new symptoms. Slow digestion and their gentle calcium levels in the tissue increased significantly, 21%. This poses a risk for older adults. In addition to causing discomfort, if neglected, if not addressed, constipation may lead to discomfort, swelling, retained impurities, and even digestive obstructions. Stimulating proteins that move calcium into bones and teeth while keeping it from coming in the role of arteries and organs is to K2. D3 acts like an overly enthusiastic traffic controller without guidance when K2 is not present. Furthermore, the follow-up concludes in your renal system, gastrointestinal tract, and blood flow. Older individuals who possess reduced kidney performance, a decreased energy processing, or insufficient hydration are especially vulnerable to this discrepancy. Your body is working to notify you of an issue if you've begun D3 and have noticed that your digestion is experiencing a decrease in pace. Always combine supplements D3 along with vitamin K2. Ideally, the extended-release MK7 formulation for protection yourself. To restore your calcium levels, boost your consumption of fluid, mineral, and vitamin, and stop taking D3 for a few days if you're currently experiencing constipation. This focuses on the prevention of calcium from quietly constricting your internal systems. It's not solely focused on digestive health because it's challenging to undo the accumulation once it commences. Fifth, high doses of D3 can lead to renal discomfort and quiet harm. Your kidneys serve more than just one purpose: removing harmful substances. They uphold, monitor calcium levels, regulate fluid balance, and manage minerals. Nonetheless, consuming significant amounts of vitamin D3 without a professional's medication can quickly overwhelm your renal function, particularly when paired with foods rich in calcium and magnesium. D3 enhances the quantity of calcium that is taken in from your gastrointestinal tract, at times to such a degree that your kidneys cannot remove the surplus. Excessive calcium levels in the body. The presence of calcium in your urine can be attributed to that. It seems harmless. Nonetheless, it slowly leads to unnoticed damage that escalates into severe complications or worse, chronic kidney disease. As per a study from 2018 published in Kidney Global Studies, urinary calcium levels increased by 30% in elderly individuals who administered over 4,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily for a duration of 4 weeks. Furthermore, numerous individuals experienced initial indicators of kidney strain that are unassuming yet detrimental despite not. Did everyone have symptoms right gone? These included a reduction in filtration rates, myoprotein in the fluid, and fluctuations in a specific waste product levels. Until the laboratory analysis revealed that something was amiss, the majority of they were not aware. Due to renal performance typically decreases as one gets older, older adults face heightened vulnerabilities. Additionally, with the utmost care, incorporating the addition of a high dose of D3 enhances the perfect tempest. The signs like fatigue, difficulty focusing, or frequent manifestations of discomfort in the lower back slowly. Moreover, the damage is already established by the time a renal stone evolves or operates significantly refusals. What started as an enhancement for skeletal well-being transforms into a renal crisis that proceeds overlooked. To make certain that you don't overlook, if you would like to see additional videos of this nature, please let me know. The notification icon, follow, and appreciate the video if you found it enjoyable distant. Fourth, the accumulation of calcium in blood vessels that increases the likelihood of a heart attack. Vitamin D3 plays a crucial role in enabling the uptake of calcium in your gastrointestinal tract. Nonetheless, if vitamin K2 doesn't guide that calcium to the correct position, your skeletal structure, it could twist up lining the walls of your blood vessels. It's beyond just a concept. In previous individuals, vascular calcification has been directly linked to a rise risk of cardiovascular events. Your calcium levels in the blood increase when you consume D3 on its own, particularly when you consume significant quantities. Nonetheless, if that calcium is directionless, it solidifies into your blood vessels. Additionally, it is virtually unfeasible to undo calcified deposits once they have developed. A study from 2019 that was released in Arteriosclerosis Thrombosis and Vascular Biology studied older individuals who were using vitamin D3 supplements, however, not K2. Furthermore, 40% exhibited noticeable increases in vascular rigidity within 60 days. Additional calcium deposits were identified in the imaging of coronary vessels using CT scans. Along with the most notable transformations were observed in individuals who previously experienced cardiovascular illnesses. It wasn't long ago. It solely required several weeks. That's how fast your heart may be affected by misdirected calcium. Many seniors feel well during this period, which is alarming, until people unexpectedly experience tightness in the chest, difficulty breathing breath, or an unusual stress evaluation. There is no unease alert or clear indication. Furthermore, the potential for harm enhancements for individuals who are already utilizing medications for managing blood pressure or cholesterol levels. Calcium buildup in blood vessels restricts oxygen supply to the heart tissue and reduces the diameter of the blood vessel pathway that changes a slow buildup into an unforeseen emergency. D3 must consistently be accompanied by K2 for heart health secure. K2 induces the production of matrix glow protein, or NGP, is set to become operational. This protein physically extracts additional calcium from vessels and assists in its accumulation into bone. Without it, D3 transforms into a dangerous weapon without a safety mechanism. It seems you are seeking assistance may quietly weaken a particular system while supporting another if you're consuming D3 for your skeletal health and overlooking K2. That's a risk your body cannot manage, not at this moment, and not ever. Third, a lack of strength in the muscles that increases with every administration. The greater part, many individuals utilize magnesium as a means to alleviate stress and ease their tension. Magnesium, however, it could potentially lead to the contrary outcome if your body is not in balance. At what time consumed in significant amounts or in combination with vitamin D3 absent sufficient accompanying elements, it could lead to feelings of fatigue and weightiness in the muscles, and even shaking rather than heightened fortitude. While magnesium occurs, naturally eases tension. It may lead to your muscles may weaken to the point of losing their ability to contract accurately by disturbing the essential balance of calcium and potassium. You ultimately find yourself with an unusual sense of tiredness in your limbs that appear to be deteriorating each day. A study from 2020, published in Frontiers in Physiology, investigated the impacts of magnesium supplements for discomfort and rest in elderly individuals. 2 weeks later, 28% of participants reported experiencing new muscle symptoms of fatigue, particularly in the extremities. Blood tests showed a disruption that perplexed the muscle pathways influenced by serum potassium levels decreasing and magnesium concentrations increasing. While the muscles are deficient in the adequate mineral assistance to respond, the signals were still active. Vitality is absent, the sole aspect that is affected in this method. It may influence stability and response time, duration, and pace, which elevates the risk of falls. The circumstances evolve more complex when vitamin D3 is included. T3 enhances the uptake of calcium, which may lead to an overabundance of calcium penetrating muscle tissue if magnesium and the K2s are not in equilibrium. This leads to slowed motion discomfort and even an experience of weighted limbs. Older adults often link it to the passage of time, yet the supplement stack is often the reason. Mineral testing is crucial to steering clear of this. Magnesium ought to be avoided, received automatically. Choose options that are high in potassium. Carefully crafted solutions, and avoid combining supplements that disrupt muscle coordination. Furthermore, stop and reassess if you believe that your muscles feel less strong after trying a new nutrient. Your body might not be not functioning properly. It could just be a matter of time. Excessive amounts of something that was not solicited, overlooking such frailty, is a perilous mistake. That will certainly lead to a decrease in motion and independence. Runner-up and undiscovered a sudden indication of a lack reduction in hunger and nourishment requirements. Improperly combining magnesium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2 may inhibit your innate appetite cues without supplying your body with the essential nutrients it requires, which is among the most overlooked consequences. Following the consumption of these supplements, older adults might think they are maintaining wellness. If they unexpectedly drop, they may not have the desire to eat, miss out on meals, or experience disinterested in meals. However, it is typically a concerning sign. These nutrients could potentially lead to modifications in digestive substances that enable you to pursue a lower caloric intake while taking in less nourishment, along with engage with substances such as ghrelin and leptin that regulates appetite. The Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry released a research conducted in that monitored individuals, over 60 individuals, who consumed a D3K2 supplement along with magnesium take the supplement consistently for 30 days. In spite of possessing identical energy requirements, 31% of participants indicated a decrease in their feeling famished and eating smaller portions during the initial fortnight. The combination, as per the scientists, altered digestive hormone levels, delaying the process of stomach emptying and causing dysfunction, flavor understanding. Inadvertent insufficient food intake was the outcome, which in certain instances resulted in myelinea and an imbalance of electrolytes and protein depletion. The senior individuals were not sick. To put it plainly, they had no appetite, and it posed a significant risk because of it. In regard to for older adults, this reduction in appetite is a significant alert. Although it would appear advantageous for an individual striving to achieve weight loss, caloric intake, protein levels, and micronutrients should be consumed consistently, utilized by your system to support overall health, cognitive performance, physical strength, restoration, and joint wellness. A continuous reduction in appetite leads to muscle degeneration associated with aging that elevates the likelihood of breaks, experiences of instability, and lack of strength. Listen closely, evaluate your vitality, monitor your nutrition, and take into account the overall context. If you began a new supplement regimen and your desire to eat has diminished, particularly if it included D3, magnesium, or K2. These nutrients are not detrimental, but if you use them improperly, they can lead to a gradual depletion of essential nutrients. Additionally, it requires considerably. It will take more time to fix the damage. Symptoms manifest more frequently than many older adults can manage. First place, misplaced calcium buildup that increases the likelihood of cerebrovascular accident. This is the most detrimental, yet very few people talk about it. Inadequate vitamin K2 facilitates the absorption in your body, exceeds its ability to handle calcium when you consume vitamin D3. Furthermore, there is an accumulation of calcium into your heart valves, arteries, and even sensitive brain tissues if it is not guided into your very core. A commitment to encouraging strong bones becomes a straightforward pathway to vascular calcification. This buildup ultimately leads to the vessels delivering oxygenated blood to the brain to specialists, increasing your likelihood of stroke, particularly ischemic stroke, which is caused by obstructions or impediments. The most concerning aspect is that it could begin calmly in a few weeks. Researchers studied more than 45,000 elderly individuals in a 21 demographic research that was published in a medical journal focused on cerebrovascular conditions. They found out that during the initial 60 days of adding large amounts of vitamin D3 without accompanying K2 had a 30% increased likelihood of cerebrovascular accident. This was not a gradual danger-enduring issue. In the utmost, the scans indicated signs of concern such as blurred vision, dizziness, and unilateral weakness, along with initial signs of reduced blood vessel width and elevated calcium levels in blood tests. Furthermore, prior to commencing their supplement plans, several of them lacked any previous medical background of heart-related conditions. The situation deteriorates when magnesium is included. While magnesium has the ability to reduce lowering pressure through relaxation circulatory structures, it also contends with calcium for assimilation. This suggests that calcium is redirected, and in the absence of K2 controlling its course, it ultimately arrives at locations where it is not appropriate, like the coronary arteries that supply blood to the mind. You might be unknowingly increasing your chances of a stroke daily if you consume all three of these nutrients at once without supervision or laboratory analyses. The solution is not to exist concerned about these vitamins, to acknowledge their expertise. Do not exceed 2,000 daily intake of D3 in international units without first understanding your present levels, and consistently take D3 with K2. It's important to monitor your intake of calcium. Please take this seriously. Symptoms including dizziness and slurred speech or intermittent vision. These could indicate potential concerns. However, indications aren't produced by your body without purpose. Furthermore, a silent stroke could be approaching if your arteries are becoming rigid as a result of mineral deposits. Your mind might be experiencing overwhelm by something you think is advantageous for your well-being. Additionally, it won't notify you until it's past the point of no return unless you take precautions. You currently comprehend that K2, D3, and magnesium are not consistently secure. If not utilized correctly, they may lead to muscle deterioration and affect kidney function, disrupt your nervous system, and even heighten your risk of stroke in a short period of time. If you are familiar with the usage of them appropriately, supplements can be quite efficient instruments. Steer clear of assumptions. Steer clear mimicking the behaviors of others. It seems you are looking for assistance. Merit precision for your wellness. Among these 10 negative outcomes, which one caught you off guard the most? Place it in the feedback area. All individuals are being acknowledged and addressed, and sign up immediately if you're seeking authenticity, evidence-based wellness recommendations for elderly individuals. Furthermore, initiate alerts since neither we nor your body is experiencing a decrease in activity. Kindly take your leave. Your insights and encounters in the feedback area below. Thank you for your assistance. Observing.